Hi guys, just doing a bit of an update. Got the truck registered, thank God. Been off the road for a few years, so it needed a fair bit of work. All new bushes through the suspension, new brakes or brake pads. They were the main heavy jobs. I had a bit of a misfortune of snapping a few wheel studs with my torque multiplier. Did a video on that the other day. Great little tool, just got to be careful. So we've been out and about, got all the kids' seats starting to go in, all that kind of thing. So I'm going to take the sides off shortly, so the sides and the back will be chopped there, and then up there's the part that's going to slide on the back, the actual motorhome, kind of gypsy style. So yeah, really happy to finally have it on the road. It took a bit after being off the road for a few years. Roadworthy in Victoria was pretty strict, so you can see got my new plates on. Got to do rewiring into the tow bar. I don't know why, but all the wires were pulled out. Cut off the top wire mesh. I've got to move the exhaust pipe. It has to go underneath now and blow out the back side. Luckily, being that this was downgraded from 5.2 tons to 4490, meaning I can drive it on a car license, also means I'm able to move things like the exhaust pipe because it's not classified as a light or heavy vehicle kind of thing. So yeah, so pretty happy. All the work's been done. It's all been resprayed, new paint, new 2-pack paint, headlinings, new seats, all upholstered, everything done. So it's like a new one. So yesterday just picked up my new lining boards, second-hand lining boards I should say. Beautiful rustic edge. I don't know if you can see that edge up there, but it's a natural edge, that's what they call this. So got a nice pile from someone locally for $2 a metre, so bargain. They're actually just the right length too, just long enough. So let's have a quick wander over and see all the mess. This place is covered in stuff being fixed and whatnot. So yeah, really happy with my truck. New headlights, $42. Like a truck is so cheap to fix. Like a pair of these new headlights, $42. All new suspension bushes, front and back, $120. Even when I snapped a few of these nuts off, they're like $7 each to replace the actual studs, and about $9 for a nut. So compared to all the cars I've got a few over there, that silly Rexton, which was used to tow our caravan, man, the parts for it are so expensive. And my L-Grand as well, people mover kind of machine. A front headlight for that, you're looking at about $400 or $500. The front bumper bar is $3,000. So on the old truck, you're looking at nothing. So cheap that I'm going to sell all my cars and buy trucks. I just couldn't be bothered with cars anymore. But anyway, so the build. So front panel looks a bit boring at the moment. That'll all be painted up to kind of go into the gypsy style. So this is the loft. Excuse all the mess. So you can see a couple of windows, some of the linings going in. None of it's secured yet. It's all just tacked in at the moment, just to make sure for adjustment. So you can see I've got my roof lining in my loft. All that stuff's the insulation. See, it's got a nice angle on the front. You can see the angle going up there. So the wind pushes up and over the top, and the top is about this much higher than the rest. So the wind will push up and over the top and leave all my solar panels and skylights and everything alone instead of ripping them all to bits. So a couple of windows, you can see they're privacy windows. They were bought cheaply, like $40 kind of thing. And the beauty of them is, you can see just there on the doorknob, they actually have screens. That one's a bit ripped when I installed it, which was slightly annoying. But beautiful screened windows, you can see in this one, loving screens, they open really easily. So a set of old bathroom windows. Went for the privacy because this is a loft. So two of my boys will be sleeping up in this part. And floor, I was going to put in this floor. So I've done the back with the floor, and I was going to line theirs with floor, except I've gone against it now. It's just weight. Everything I add is just increasing the weight, and you know, I'd rather take other stuff than worry about, you know, lining their floor. So it'll be painted up to look nice. Right through the middle, which I'm kind of doing today if it wasn't 40 degrees, will actually be two sliding doors right in the middle. So coming along the middle to separate this into two little rooms, to stop the boys fighting. So the doors will be able to be slid out of the way if they want to chat to each other and whatever, and if they want to sleep, the doors will slide back up to contain them, to stop them bashing each other all night and being annoying. So yeah, so pretty happy so far, but just so hot at the moment I just can't be bothered doing too much. It's, I got heat stroke the other day, still copping a headache from yesterday. So in the back we've got our feature, which is our LED light cupboard. It's in nice and tight. I don't think you could get much tighter. You can see there is absolutely no gap. So you would actually think that was made for it, wouldn't you? It's it went in with a bit of persuading. I've got my persuader around here somewhere, a big sledgehammer. You wouldn't normally use a sledgehammer with LED light glass, but it was the only way to get this one in. And you know, pretty happy, lots of storage, all that kind of stuff. And there'll be a ladder sitting here that'll get the boys up and over. And also the sledgehammer was a good test for the LED light, make sure it was going to stay in there. So happy with all that sliding in like it was made for it. Again, it's the top of a hutch off a like a kitchen kind of thing, and I brought it without even knowing whether it was going to fit, because this frame had already been made, but it fit perfectly. So you can see a little bit more roof lining coming in. I built myself a little cupboard here, so you can see I walk to the back just to give you an idea of how it all sits. So here's the back door. Got our beautiful peacocks on the back door. Love my back door. Little bit noisy, bit of oil, but you can see that little bifold. My beautiful peacocks. So happy with that. It came out of a really old motorhome that travelled Australia for about 30 years or something. The whole motorhome rusted out. This was the last thing left that was salvageable, and it was just a local find, which was very lucky. So yeah, my new floors in. Happy with floors, and air conditioner. I know it seems a little bit extravagant, but you know, why not when you're at a powered site or whatever? Plug in and keep nice and cool and nice and warm. Yeah, got my little storage cupboard. Doors cost me $2. Loving my $2 bargains. I don't know what they were off, don't care, they were already pulled off that. They've got spring hinges, which is pretty cool, so they shut automatically, keep closed. And under here I've got a little storage cupboard with some special stuff up there. Oh God, safe, stuff like that, valuables and whatever. Oh, yeah. Did my back in last week and I'm still suffering from it. So the little storage box is that under there, and that's the end of the air conditioner there. It basically fits perfectly, and I'm really hoping my measurements are spot on, because they're going to need to be. When this part's cut off, the storage box will sit across here, the exhaust pipe will be gone, and literally a millimetre or two off here. Not enough that when it shakes it'll bash or anything, but just enough clearance. So the storage box, just got to use all the space that I can. Again, weight's always the issue with everything, but I'll have to cut off the old shovel holders, and in here I'm thinking of having an outdoor sliding kitchen that'll come out of there. So we'll see how that goes. Again, it's all coming back to weight. So yeah, the build at the moment's been a bit slow with a bad back, and now I've got heat, you know, heat kind of issues. We've got 38s, 39s and that kind of thing for a couple of days. So I just wanted to do a quick one, even though I haven't done a lot. There's the skylight, got to cut that batten out, and yeah, so it was a bit slow for the last week and a half, but the main thing is I'm really happy to have my truck with plates on it. It was a bit of an ordeal for multiple reasons, and the main one being that this truck had been downgraded from 5.2 tonnes to just under 4.5 for a car licence, so anyone can drive it. But we had a bit of a dilemma, as the paperwork had been lost and all this kind of stuff. It was done many years ago, 2002, and it looked like it would never be on the road again without this engineer's report, which had been lost, and you know, this thing would have never been registerable, not easily anyway. The main problem they had, if I can get into it, was this compliance plate. If you can see the compliance plate, it's just been bashed, like they just scratched parts out of the old weights and stuff and re-tapped them over the top. Normally there should be another plate underneath it, a little blue one, saying that the engineer approved it all. So I don't exactly know why that was done, but it gave me a headache and it was quite annoying. But in the end of the day, after much mucking around, after contacting Freedom of Information Australia, or Freedom of Information Victoria, they were able to dig it up for me for 28 bucks and find all the paperwork for this truck and all the details of it. So anyone ever stuck with details for a car, go and give them a bell and or write them a letter. Well, first I rang them and then had to write them a letter. Everything needs to be in paper for them. But yeah, Freedom of Information hold a lot of information, being that's their job, and you know, they got me out of trouble. So I'm looking at both. For 10 grand I'm going to do this motorhome. That's the goal. The trucks cost me now on the road, I'm looking at about 8. So I'm looking at bringing my gypsy style motorhome in for 2. At present I'm looking at about 1,300, so I've got about 700 left to go, because I splurged a bit on my beautiful old rustic panelling that'll go on the outside. Really thick, 2mm thick. I've already got them all cut up, ready to go. So these are all ones for the side here, and you know, once I'm rolling, because I've got a lot cut up now, they won't take long to put on, and it'll make a total difference. This will go from, you know, looking like a frame to looking like a gypsy style truck. So I'm out of insulation. I've got my bubble stuff, which I love. I think it's a really good one. It's been, I've got to go and get a bit more insulation. I put the word out and asked a few people if they had any lying around, and no one seems to have anything that I can scavenge. So I've just got to get a little bit more insulation, which will be today's job because it's too hot to work, and then I'll be lining it, which will be the kind of exciting looking part. So there you go, truck's on the road, super happy with that. Coming along a bit slower than I want to with my little home on wheels, because I want to be able to use this in a couple of weeks for a test drive holiday. And after that we'll be hitting the road once it's all ready to go, and lap Australia a couple 100 times. Alright, there's a small update, and enjoy.